All right, y'all. I do believe we are live. So I did test everything and the audio should be working fine this time. But just let me know, make sure that y'all can see us. Y'all can post it in the chat and also that you can hear us as well. While all that's happening, I'm already just pulling everything up. Okay. All right. Well, welcome y'all to this live chat where we're basically just going to chat about the craziness that we have been through this year and a little bit of last year to get my brand new cookbook out that is finally out. It's been crazy. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Felicia, and I teach you all about real whole grains from a biblical perspective, how to be milling your grains, baking that delicious bread, and more. So we actually have a special guest today. If you've been around for a while, you recognize him.
Hello.
This is my husband, Joshua, aka Mr. Grains and Grit. And the reason he's here is he has a lot to do with the behind the scenes of getting this cookbook out. And I definitely could not do it without him. So we're basically just going to be sitting here having a little chat, kind of giving y'all a bit of an insight of bringing this cookbook to y'all. And I did link it in the chat. It's also in the description box below. So yes, welcome everyone. And I know also y'all can see him. Y'all haven't seen him since before everything that happened in March, which is definitely part of our story with this cookbook. So we're just going to get started. So first of all, and he'll probably ask me questions. I'll ask him questions. Feel free to talk in the chat, and we'll try to get to it if we can. But otherwise, the biggest question, I guess, is what finally inspired to get this done?
Yeah, because
what would you say?
I mean, we've been getting comments and questions about when you're going to put your cookbook out for years.
Yeah.
So, do you want to tell them about the offer that fell through that eventually led you to just pull the trigger on this?
Yeah, I had actually many of y'all for years, like you said, have commented asking when a cookbook would come out, and what started this, was sometime last year.
It was about a year ago.
About a year ago, I was approached by a publisher. Now, not one of the big ones like Penguin House or Random House or whatever.
It was up there.
It was up there. It was a decent publisher.
It was a good sized publisher.
Approached me about doing a cookbook, and you'll have to fill in the details because basically, we were looking at like a contract we were approached with a contract.
Oh yeah, we got all the way down to the contract, ready to sign. Yeah. And we walked away.
We did.
So I handle a lot of the negotiations on things like that here at Grains and Grit. And I had to just kind of level with her and say, this is what you're going to have to be doing. This is how much work is going to go into this. This is what the requirements are. This is what they're expecting of you. And this is all they're going to pay you.
Yeah.
And it was peanuts. It was nothing.
It didn't seem like it would be worth
it was literally next to nothing.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe that. And I went back to them and I said, I don't understand. I thought this was a legit publishing house. This isn't a vanity publishing situation. You're actually wanting to pay Felicia to write a cookbook. Yeah. You believe it's going to have huge, wide reception. You're going to put this in big, like Walmart and all of the places. And why so little in terms of payment? And they basically just said, take it or leave it. Yeah. And so we left it.
We left it mainly because I think if I remember it, we kind of were weighing like all the things that I had to do. And it was basically like, might as well do this myself.
Right. If you're going to go through all of that work, you might as well have the control of being able to dictate what's going to be in it. Yeah. When we publish it, that sort of thing. We're still, giving a huge cut to Amazon, but
yeah, it's ridiculous how much Amazon
they take the majority. So we're still making peanuts,
I know.
At least we're in control. So, you went through the work, but you got to write the book the way you wanted to write it. Yeah. So that was cool.
Well, and I think one thing that probably gave us more confidence to do that is you've already done this before.
Yes.
Yeah. So full disclosure, my husband's already written a book. Yeah. This was years. Oh man. How long ago?
7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah. 7, 8 years ago, he wrote a book that God placed on his heart. Full title. What's the name?
Repentance from Sin, How Antinomianism Disarmed the Gospel and Not the Sinner.
Yes.
It's a rebuke of easy believism.
Yep.
And it goes into the history of the debate. But yeah, so I did that. I self-published that through Amazon. So I'm familiar with the way it works.
Yeah. So you were already kind of comfortable with that. So
Diane Smith says she's been praying for my full recovery. Very sweet. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you, Diane.
A lot of people are saying stuff like that.
Yes. We really appreciate all your prayers for him. As you can see, he's here at the house.
Still breathing.
He's still, well, not kicking. I can't say you're not kicking anymore, but he is here. So we really appreciate all your prayers and support.
What happened?
Yeah. So now we went, so that gave us, at least we've already kind of navigated this route a little bit.
So you got to work.
So we got to work.
The actual book.
Yep. And I had to, first of all, figure out who I wanted this book to be for.
Yeah.
And basically I realized, I think the biggest, what I'm looking for, a purpose. The
mission or the goal.
The mission or the goal of this cookbook was definitely for those who were starting out or curious about home milling, or they were newbies, maybe not, very confident in everything, and basically just make it easy. Like, here is how to start your home milling journey.
Okay, so
kind of
a little secret about Felicia. She's a big fan of Julia Childs.
Oh yes.
And in the movie Julia and Julia,
my favorite movie,
it brings out how Julia Child set out to write this cookbook for American cooks who are servantless. And so I think there was a little bit of that sentiment going into this book. It was to give a whole grains, a 100% freshly milled whole grains cookbook for people who just didn't know where to start or weren't really able to make it work. Maybe they had tried it before, or maybe they were afraid to try it. Yeah. And so, you were wanting to give people that confidence.
The confidence, and also the second part was having recognizable recipes.
True.
Because I kind of collect cookbooks, and especially when it comes to whole grains, I would look at like these whole grain cookbooks, and I'm looking at it like, okay, what is this?
Yeah, what am I going to do with quinoa cauliflower salad?
Yeah, like things like, I don't think my kids would really like this, and my kids are not.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit. Yes, Marianne.
Yeah.
But I'm a large family mama. I'm raising my kids, and not that we raise our kids to be picky eaters. They eat what we eat. But let's face it. I mean, let's not make an uphill battle. Especially because it's so important for children to have whole grains.
Give people recipes for pancakes and sandwich bread and cinnamon rolls.
I think the foods that people already love.
They're already going to recognize them, and they just want a healthy 100% whole grain alternative for that food. So let's go get a recipe book together that actually covers that. But and it should be noted, this is not just a recipe book.
No.
A huge part of this book actually teaches your system. Yeah. Because dealing with whole grains is as much an art as it is a science. And so you teach people the system that you have perfected over a decade or more.
Over a decade, yeah.
And then you go into the recipes. But anyway, these are recipes and foods that people are going to already be familiar with, and they want something that's healthy and wholesome that's going to feed their kids. Yep. Their kids are going to like it. They can take it to the church potluck, and everyone's going to know what it is. Yes. And then you can whisper, by the way, that's home milled whole grain.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things I love doing is serving people like rolls or biscuits or whatever it is, and people don't even know that it's whole grain.
They just know it's good.
They love it, and when I tell them, actually, this is whole grain, they're shocked, because most people, I think, we think about whole grain as that, a typical dense, dry, whole wheat, boring type flavor.
Right.
So do know now. One question I have been getting about the cookbook is people are asking to kind of see a sample, and you just told me about this. Apparently, Amazon does allow you to read a sample, but only on desktop.
Yeah, it's not on mobile. Yeah. But if you go on your computer, you can read the first, I think, 10 pages or something of the cookbook, including the table of contents, which has all of the recipes and everything.
Yeah, a lot of people are asking about that. So,
Becky Corey says, "I'm loving your cookbook. It would be perfect for anyone new to milling grains, but also just great tasting recipes."
Yay! So that's what started and inspired what I wanted to do with this cookbook. And I already have plans for another one. But this is where I think the craziness starts, because we started like, okay, I started writing it.
And then
and then
I kind of took it.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of, editing and that sort of thing, proofing. And we had to put together like your author bio. We had to take we had to take photos.
Yeah, I had to take
All
pictures
the
of
photos
everything.
we had to take. Food photography is not easy.
No, I learned.
Alicia took most of those pictures.
I learned something. Now he took the cover photo.
Yeah.
You get credit for the cover photo.
And I liked this cover photo because I wanted something that was fun, something that looked inviting, that kind of looked like, you know what, if she can do it, I can do it. Let's bake along together and have fun. So
I will say full credit goes to Joshua with the design, because I basically handed him a black and white Word document.
Well,
and you have an eye.
I tried to cheat on that a little bit.
Well, yeah, but he has an eye for the design. So, yeah, you want to tell the story of that? Okay.
So I handed it off to a company that was going to basically lay it out for us. And I was going to work with them to make sure that it was the look and the feel that we wanted. And I gave them absolutely everything they needed. We gave them, just all the specs,
very detailed form,
the whole manuscript, in proofed format, the layout instructions, the feel, the bio, the promo on the back of the cover, that sort of thing. And then I got shot. I literally handed it off to them.
You just handed it over.
The day before I got shot.
Was it the day before?
I think it was the day before.
Okay. He had just handed it over, and the plan was we were going to have this published by the time I spoke at the FPEA homeschool convention that I spoke at here in Florida in May, because we wanted to bring cookbooks there
well in advance of that, but
we wanted to also have launched it out to all of y'all.
Yeah, we went with this company, and I'm not going to say who they are because I don't endorse them.
No,
that'll be part of the story perhaps in a few minutes, but so we wanted to kind of shortcut it a little bit and speed things up. And theoretically, I was going to be able to work with them, get it printed within a month. And then I got shot, and everything came to a screeching halt.
It was,
I woke up in the hospital, and when I was able to kind of come around to that part of my brain, eventually I said, oh yeah, the book. Felicia, I've sent everything off to the people who are going to lay it out. I need you to work with them. But she was so busy. You were trying to manage where the kids were going to be staying and who's going to be doing this and who's taking care of the animals and trying to stay with me. And so
I think we couldn't get to it.
The book just got put on hold.
Yeah. We had to put on halt other parts of your business.
Right.
So I kind of had to.
My whole business.
Everything came screeching halt. And so I was that. I mean, and also, whenever this happens, you still have to make sure your power bill is paid, know, and stuff like that. So navigating all of this. So we did, refresh my memory. So he's still in ICU in the hospital. Yeah. And I think we eventually were telling him, okay, continue. And while you're in the hospital, I think we were still, when we could, answer whatever questions they had.
Yep. So they were not the shortcut that we thought they were going to be. They were really fast at taking our money.
Oh, very fast.
But not so fast at actually doing the things that they said they were going to do. And so we wound up having to babysit them a lot.
Well, mainly if we kept having to give them the same information.
Yeah.
And that was a chore, because then I'm having to find I know you wrote this. Where is it?
A learning experience.
It was a learning experience, I think, next time.
But it's why, if you're on the email list, guys, if y'all have signed up for our email newsletter, you may have recalled she tried to launch the book a month ago.
Oh, yeah.
And then they weren't ready for us yet. They kept telling us it was going to be ready, and then it just kept getting pushed back and further. So eventually it came out, about 2 weeks ago, I think. Week and a half ago, maybe. But it was supposed to have, even with me being shot and everything, we were still supposed to have it out a month or more ago. Yeah.
So at the homeschool convention, the plan was we were planning on being able to have already launched it, be able to have the cookbooks there to sell. So we at least took pre-orders for it. And I was like, okay, come hell or high water, it's going to be out in June. So the conference was third week in May. I was like, okay, because I think they were kept saying like, yeah, it's going to be another week. So it looked like that we were close. And I was like, okay, it's coming out in June. It's coming out in June. And then like June keeps going on. And that's when we were telling you guys on my email newsletter that, okay, big announcement next week. And then we're like, oh no, we have to like postpone it again. And so, yeah, it's, I think it would have been, I don't know. I think maybe this was the Lord guiding us where we kind of did pass it off to a company, because you definitely, I don't think could have handled, I don't know.
Well, I had already done most of the work before this happened.
True. Yeah.
And then I just had to continue babysitting them, whenever I could. But it's hard to do anything when you're, dealing with this and getting used to this lifestyle and trying to learn, work through the pain and everything. But there is a question, can we, purchase the book directly through you to make sure that you get more of the proceeds? And the answer is no, because Amazon doesn't just handle the fulfillment of the order. They also print the book. So they handle, everything. They print the book themselves. So they're going to get their cut one way or another. Yeah. So, no, we're just happy that we can get it to you guys at a fair market price. So, we're not going to raise the price anytime soon or anything. We're not really interested in trying to get rich. Everyone thinks, for some reason, I know this from when I sold my book, they think you're going to get rich because you have a book. That's like the worst way to get rich is to sell a book. Actually,
unless you're like J.K. Rowling or you have to do like the big series, like,
people don't write books to get rich. They write books because they have a passion or whatever. But that's just how it is, guys. So if you want to get the book, the link is in the comments. And in
the description box.
You do have to go through Amazon for that, unfortunately. We are trying... We're hoping, we're more in the planning phase of maybe getting a spiral bound version of this. And that probably will be through a different platform, not Amazon, because I don't think they do spiral bound. I don't know when that's going to be. It could be next year. It could be 5 years from now. I don't really know.
What about, were we wanting an ebook?
There is an ebook coming. An ebook version is coming, hopefully here in the next few weeks.
Yeah. Now, some of y'all have said for those who have purchased it, it is thin enough. Some of y'all have said you've taken it to Office Depot or Staples
and
had it spiral bound, which I think is very smart. Because I do believe, I haven't been told that there isn't sufficient margin for that. So that's something, if you already have the book and you want it spiral bound, I don't think it's very expensive to do that.
Well, that's an option.
So that is an option for y'all.
Did we tell them about should we tell them about the first edition?
Oh, yes. So that was the other problem, the other hiccup.
Yeah.
Okay, hiccup number 5021.
Right.
We realized even though no matter how many times we looked over this thing.
And no matter how many times we told these people.
I know. No matter how many times.
They were supposed to have done some of the, they were supposed to have approved or done the proofing as well.
Yeah, they were all supposed to do it because I gave them all correct.
They proof it, and then hopefully that's enough proofing. But turned out it wasn't, because the final draft, if you got a copy of the first edition, you'll notice the garlic knots. They're missing the first few steps, but we do have a downloadable insert you can put in your copy if you got a first edition.
So if you're missing that, you can email us and we can get that to you.
That way you know what the first few steps of the garlic knots are.
Very crucial.
But hey, if you have that, you can say your copy is a first edition. It's special.
It's very special, yes. And it's a bonus. It's a way to prove that it's bona fide.
Right.
Now, do know if you're ordering it now, it has been fixed. But yeah, that's just, that was a crazy thing to do that. And then, I think that was the main thing. That was so frustrating because I gave them the correct recipe. My first thought actually was, oh no, did we mess up?
No,
it was them. It was them.
No.
So yeah, any other questions about
what are people saying about the book? We've had it out for over a week. We've been getting a lot of feedback.
Been getting a lot of feedback so far. I think we're up to like 13 5-star reviews. It was number 1 in the new release cookbook section of Amazon for a bit. So that was really cool to see that. But I've also been really blown away by all the feedback I've gotten. Basically, the feedback I've gotten is kind of like, oh, that's what I was going for. Like people saying it's easy to understand the recipes. They have more confidence.
Well, a lot of people are saying that the recipes actually work, and that's what I think is surprising people because when you there's some other recipes out there for whole grains that don't necessarily work, and they're not necessarily delicious. We've had some feedback that was kind of not really what we were going for, but nice to hear, and that is that your food or your recipes are like comfort food and like good Southern recipes, which, we're just going for standard stuff here, like dinner rolls and
that's
pancakes and stuff. But I guess, that's another takeaway is people are saying this stuff is good to eat.
Yeah.
This is not just, quinoa cauliflower salad. This is good, like comfort food stuff the kids are going to love. So a lot of people are saying not only do the recipes work, but they're just downright delicious.
Yeah. And I think part of it is with the recipes are where you don't have to worry about converting so many of your regular recipes you might have yourself, because I have the go-to. It's just the sandwich breads, the waffles, the pancakes, the muffins, those type of things that people are probably baking more of and wanting more of. But let's see. Dot says, I make your sandwich bread every week. Delish. My family and friends love it. Yay. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. So we finally got it out to y'all.
Finally got
Oh my word. Like we finally, and it's crazy because if you haven't heard my story before, I ask Josh all the time, did you ever think I would actually write a cookbook? Because when we got married, I couldn't really cook.
Yep.
I didn't know how to cook at all. And then like a year later, we started milling our grains.
Yeah. No pressure.
No pressure. So he has suffered through many a bad recipe. So y'all don't have to.
Right.
So many thanks to Joshua for
taste testing.
For taste testing. But yeah, that's pretty much it, y'all. I'm just thrilled. If you've already purchased it, we do ask that you leave reviews on Amazon.
Yeah.
That way, because people are able to see that. Amazon, I think, probably will push it more if it's got high reviews, or I'm not really sure how their algorithm works. Maybe you do. But other than that, anything else to add?
Nope. Just thanks for all the support, guys, and for all of the great feedback on this cookbook. If you've got a copy, if you haven't got a copy yet, the link is in the comments. And for those of you who've bought it, thank you very much for supporting this channel
and your patience for dealing with everything, trying to get it out.
Yeah, it was a learning experience.
Yes, it was. And again, we really appreciate your prayers for Joshua. So a quick update with him, because I know people were asking how he is. I think someone asked if you can walk yet. No.
Nope.
He is not walking. He's still paralyzed from the waist down. And we're kind of just now figuring things out here at home. And again, if you go to our Support Now page, I will link that in the description box, but it's supportnow.org/Jocelyn-family, I believe. I'll put that in the description box. And I've shared it on community posts as well.
Yeah. And can I make a comment about that? I did want to just say thank you. If you have donated to that page, I wish I could thank each and every one of you individually, but that's very touching because, that's really not what our channel's about. It's about making good bread from whole grains. And yet when this happened, it changed our lives forever.
It did.
And a lot of you rallied around us and chipped in, $5, $10, $15. And some of y'all came in with much larger sums than that. And it just blew my mind.
Yeah. Like
these are people I've never met before. And y'all really touched me. A lot of you you keep commenting or emailing us talking about, how's Joshua? We're praying for him. And I'm just so grateful for our community. I think we have a very special audience.
We do.
A group of grainies. And I'm very pleased to be a part of this in some small way.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful for all of you guys who have supported and prayed for me. And the Lord has a plan. I don't know what it is, but I'm willing to go through it with him and to figure it out as I go. And I trust that he knows best. And thanks again. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for myself as well as for my family.
Yeah, we do. And if you followed along, you know his epic beard is now shortened.
Oh, yeah. I tamed it a little bit.
Yeah, the last live you were on.
Yeah.
It was the last time you were on this channel.
I have enough to do right now. Enough problems. I don't need a long beard to take care of.
I know. But we really, really appreciate y'all for everything. And hopefully this answers some curious questions that y'all may have with the cookbook and If you wanted to publish a book yourself, I think we were told when you were publishing your book, we were told that publishing a book is like giving birth to barbed wire.
Yeah.
And
it's the truth.
It's true. It's true. So we really love you guys, and we appreciate everything that y'all do to support us here at Grains and Grit. And as always, we got a new video coming out this week later, and we will see you in that video. And y'all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. We love you guys.
Keep watching.
Bye.